Welcome back to the channel. So this week we'll be having an exciting race announcement as my race calendar comes together for the summer, and you'll continue seeing what sort of training I'm doing towards that shorter distance goals in the 5k. Stay tuned for more. So race plans, there has been a slight amendment to my racing calendar from what I'd planned for next week. So actually next week was going to be the date of the Washlands relays on Wednesday, which is a roughly 2-mile relay, a really good club event. We get a lot of people entered from all the local running leagues, and you run as a team of 4 around the Washlands where I do a lot of my running. So it's been good to do that event, but unfortunately we've been oversubscribed from the list because it's quite popular and our club has a lot of members, so we've been asked by the organisers to cut our list down by about 20 runners, meaning a lot of runners won't get the opportunity to do this. And I thought, since I've done this a couple of times in the past, it would be a good opportunity to let people who haven't done this before have a run out. And I do run there quite a lot anyway, so unfortunately I took the decision to step aside, as were a lot of the members in the club. So good on them for allowing other people to run that. But I've actually entered a track 5k race, which will be my first 5,000 metres on the track, and that's at Loughborough University on the Paula Radcliffe track there, organised by the Charnwood AC and British Milers. There's a lot of like an open meet, an opportunity to do a lot of track running. I think there may even be some jumps events on possibly that night, or throws. But yeah, there's all the different track distances, and 5,000 is the longest one of them. So it's an opportunity to get on the track and test myself over that shorter distance, and yeah, get somewhere near that 5k PB. So I will have the opportunity to do this in a month's time, possibly over the 3k and the 1500. But it would be good to set a marker at that 5,000 metres on the track and see if I can get as close to my PB as possible. So my road PB is 17:57 from Mid Cheshire 5k last summer, on a very quick course there. And if I can get somewhere near that, that'd be really good. Maybe even break it, that would be even better. So yeah, I've got to get training for that, and it's only going to be sort of a week and a half away. So no excuses for them sessions now. I'll be out tonight doing a 5k base session, and at the club on Wednesday hopefully doing something similar. So yeah, tune in for the rest of the video and find out how the week's training goes. On the way to Monday night's session, I passed the outdoor gym at the tennis courts at the park on the way to the Washlands. So a couple of very bad pull-ups in there. I was also joined by my girlfriend Ray, who did the same as me in the warm-up, and also did a 5k jog whilst I did the warm-up for my session. Tonight's session, what I'll be doing is a 6x1 kilometre session, which is really specific for that 5k race that I want to be doing next Wednesday. So I'll be giving myself 90 seconds static recovery, which is sort of longest style of recovery, just staying still, completely recover for the next rep. 90 seconds again is quite generous for a kilometre repeat as well. So I'm quite confident I should be able to hit somewhere around that 6-minute mile pace, maybe even slightly just under that, which would be a really good target to get an 18-minute 5k on the track. So I've just got about 10 seconds of my warm-up left and into the first rep. First rep done now in 3:42, which works out just under that 6-minute mile pace. So if we can hold this for the next 5, that would be great. That's the second rep done, so a little bit slower on that one. It would cut through the forest that's normally on the route, so I do lose a little bit of time there. It was around about 3:50 that rep. On for the third one now, be halfway there after this. Halfway there, third rep done. That was bang on 6-minute mile pace, so happy with that one. Back on track, 3 more to go. 4th rep down now, well over halfway, so that was a 3:41, one of the quickest reps I've done, round about 5:55, 5:57 pace. So again, pleased with that one. Let's try and keep these last two the same. Rep 5 done, 1 to go, so that last one, 3:45 for the kilometre, which is just over 6-minute miles. Quite pleased with that one. Would have liked to be under, but let's put that right in the last rep. So that's 6th rep done now, session finished. So overall I'd say that was a pretty good session. It did feel tough. I did think that probably should be running a little bit quicker for what effort I was putting in, but at the end of the day, sort of the effort I put in was, it was true to what my splits were on the night, so around about that 6-minute mile pace, a few under and a few over. So I've got to be pleased with that, because that's what I went into the session and saying I'll be pleased with the outcome. So I'll take that and hopefully try and increase those paces on the next session. On Tuesday night, I was joined by my good friend and all-round legend Sam Harrison, who was back from competing in the 10,000 metres on the track at the Hengelo Games in the Netherlands at the weekend. So I was asking for a few tips for my own 5,000 metres. So a little bit of a different level of competition, but one that I hope I can take a bit from into my racing. Welcome back, you're now joining me on Thursday evening. So quick recap from last night's run and the runs I did yesterday. So at lunchtime I had a catch up with Jacob, and he's fresh off his 1:26:30ish half marathon PB that he'd done at the weekend at Derby Half, so it's good to catch up with Jacob. We did around 7 miles on the washlands. Also well done to Steve, who broke that 1:23 barrier, got a small PB in there, coming in just under the 1:23 mark. So it's good to see them at the weekend and to see that they're happy with their PBs. So I then moved on to the evening, so double day Wednesday, and did a club session with South Derbyshire Roadrunners. So the club session was an interval session we did at Conkers. It was a really good session, working sort of either side of threshold pace. So we did 3 minutes hard, 3 minutes steady, then 2 minutes hard, 2 minutes steady, 1 minute hard, 1 minute steady, and then repeated the whole thing through. So it was around 24 minutes of a good consistent effort. So a really good replication of what the 5k race might be on the track next week. Probably won't be going as slow as some of the recoveries on that, but I'll try and hit the pace that I did for the ons in the session. So all in all, a good session. And it does bring me to today's run, and probably why I'm running with a backpack as well. So today's run is actually a run with a purpose, but a run with a slightly different meaning of the word purpose than I normally would. Usually I'd be looking to do, say, like have a session focus to my run. So it could be probably a steady 8 miles tonight would have been the aim of the game. But the purpose of tonight is I've got to go run to my parents to retrieve my bike, as it will be my mode of transport for the weekend. Unfortunately, as I was coming to a club night last night, pulled into a car park and my gear stick just wouldn't work. So I'm not very technical with cars and all that, but after a quick Google and asking a few people, it sounded like the linkage had gone. So without going into too much detail, as this is a running channel, not a fixing car channel, my car's near Conkers at Robbie's, and Jamie Green did give me a lift back, thankfully, to mine last night. So I have arranged to get that picked up and taken to my local garage, and fingers crossed I should get it back on Monday, which would be ideal. I don't want to be without a car for too long. There's only so far you can just keep on running. Good morning on Saturday morning. So I'm up here bright and early. I've got around 6 miles to do to go and get my car, and my car's going to get towed to the garage. Then I've got the other half of my long run to finish with Robbie later. So unfortunately can't be making part run this morning, but mixing my training up and getting split long running, I suppose, instead. So I'll still have the same mileage, but it won't be continuous as my usual long run. It was good to see Robbie back up and running. So I ran the Manchester Marathon with Robbie, and he's had a tough sort of last 6 or 8 weeks with injury, so it's good to see him back up to 40 miles for the week. Good morning on Sunday, and I can still call this morning as I've just sneaked in just before 12 o'clock midday, here to do my session, which is probably a bit of a mistake as it's already baking hot already. So I'm here at my local park at Newton Park, and this is going to be the scene of where I'm going to do 4 coaching sessions in July. So I put on 4 free of charge sessions as an introduction to speed work. So tempo, like I'm doing today, will be one of them. We'll be doing intervals, some fartlek, and then some maximal sprints. So please check that out. I'll put some information on this video and put some links as well onto the Instagram and Facebook page where all the information will be for these sessions. So enough of trying to plug that 3 sessions. We'll go on to what we're doing today, and today is a 4-mile tempo run that I'll be doing. So I'll be looking to do this at, it's sort of specific to this 5k race that I'm doing next week, so I'll look to do it slightly over the pace of that 5k race. If you think about it, the 5k race is only just over 3 miles, and if I'm doing 4 miles, I'm running slightly longer than this to add that endurance element to my training, but I'll be running it slightly slower than what I expect to run the 5k pace at. So I'm probably looking, if I'm looking to run the 5k pace at around 6 minute per mile pace, I may be looking towards 6:20, 6:30 pace for this tempo. So without further ado, I've done my warm up now, we'll get into the session. That's the session done. I'm a couple of minutes post session, just into the cool down now, and looking back at some of the splits at first glance as they were popping through, somewhere in that 6:15 to 6:20 region, which, remember at the start of the session I said I'd been pleased with 6:20 to 6:30. That's well ahead of what I thought, and a real confidence boosting session. You also might have noticed why I was running on the grass surface rather than the track surface or road surface that I'm used to competing on. Why don't I train on the same surface? And I think all runners will do this and realise that the track and the road are quite a hard surface to run on, so to consistently do your sessions on there, it puts a lot of weight, a lot of wear and tear on your joints, and if you can on a nice day, come and get some softer surface like the grass, the trails. Sand's a little bit harder, but still sort of a softer surface on the impact but harder on your muscles. Just try and mix it up so that you're not putting as much wear and tear on your joints there, and that was the method behind today's session. So yeah, cons of it, probably not a good idea if you've got hay fever on a day like today on a freshly mowed football pitch. So, and with that concludes this week's video. So thanks again for watching along. Be sure to check out next week's video where hopefully I'll be reporting back of a performance I'm proud of and a PB hopefully from the 5,000 metres at Loughborough University as part of the Charnwood and BMC Opens. See you in the next one.